We've got the teams then for the Rugby Championship opening round of games. Well, I mean, obviously we had South Africa's team about 4 weeks ago. That's the way Rassie Erasmus rolls. But now we've got Joe Schmidt's team, so a proper preview of Australia against South Africa in Brisbane. The team arrived, well, while I was sleeping. And, well, that's just a sign of things to come because I'm going to have to get up about 5 a.m. on Saturday morning to watch this match. It's in the afternoon in Australia time. And Joe Schmidt, who has... well, let's not forget, he's the head coach of the side in international rugby with the most number of consecutive wins. But here is where the rubber meets the road because they're up against the world champions. And that is a different prospect altogether than playing Wales or Georgia is. And, well, the headlines from this team, I mean, overall, I would say raw. Relatively inexperienced. A lot of guys that Joe Schmidt and Australian fans are going to know a lot more about come the full-time whistle. That said, it's not completely without experience, but there's absolutely lots of inexperience in the front row. Just let me give you that for example. Isaac Kalea, who looks a really promising player, I've got to say, 3 caps to his name. Matt Fessler, who's played very well, 7 caps. When you look at that, Alan Alatoa, 69 caps to his name. He's kind of the old stager alongside some newbies, and it's the same on the bench where you've got 2 caps for Nasser, 6 caps for Nongor. Both promising players. James Slipper doing the heavy lifting on the bench with 93 caps. And it's quite interesting that because it's very much what England have done. When they haven't had a lot of depth in front row, they've put either Joe Marler or Dan Cole, one of them starting, one of them on the bench. And I think that might be what Joe Schmidt is doing as well, just kind of spread his experience about. There's old stagers with a bunch of kids. Carlo Tizzano on debut with no Liam Wright or no Fraser McWright. He's been good for the Force, but this is a huge step up. Jake Gordon and Noah Lalicio have been handed the reins, and hopefully they'll get some proper time in the saddle throughout the Rugby Championship to build that chemistry in international colours with McDermott, Dermott and Liner on the bench. Again, Jake Gordon, he's 31 years of age and he's got a fair few caps under his belt. The Filippo Daungunu and Marika Koroibete wing partnership, that is going to have to wait. Koroibete is back in the squad, but he's not involved this time. Andrew Kellaway is on the right wing. So yeah, I say young, this Australia team. It's a bit of a double-edged sword actually because it's young, yes. There are only 2 players in the starting 15 that are 30 or over. Alan Alatoa and Jake Gordon. Tight head prop and 9. 2 guys that you want experience in those positions. But I say they're young, then they're not just kids. No one is younger than 24. They're all in that mid-20s age range, which that might be just coincidental, the players that Joe Schmidt thinks are the best players to play. But it may be by design because if Joe Schmidt is going to be given time and patience, then that's not a bad shout when you're thinking 3 years down the line, a home World Cup. I suppose they have also got the more real and more pressing priority of the British and Irish Lions landing on Australian shores next summer or next winter their time. Equally, they've got the very, very real prospect, and I'm sure Joe Schmidt is doing nothing more than picking the team that he thinks are going to do best against the world champions. Just a quick reminder of their side, absolutely stacked. Sasha Feinberg and Gomazulu, one of the new faces, and getting his first start. Elric Lowe in the pack in the number 8 jersey, getting his first start. Other than that, World Cup winners absolutely everywhere. Caps all over the shop. Age, experience, and loads more of it coming off the bench, where you've got Ben Jason Dixon and Gerhard Steenekamp, the newer faces amongst what is a very, very experienced team. And I mean, I'll do a combined team right now. This is where I take all 23 players from Australia, all 23 players from South Africa, chuck them all in a pot, and just kind of which ones would you select? Man for man, put number 1 up against number 1, number 2 up against number 2, right the way down to number 23. And it gives you a sense of where the balance of power lies, where the opportunities and strengths and weaknesses for each team may be. And let's have a look at the way I've gone. Do you agree? I have got 2 Australians only. I mean, that might make you wince if you're an Aussie. 2 Australians only in the 23. Rob Valentini, and to accommodate Rob Valentini, I've shunted him across to the number 8 jersey. That's not that Elric Lowe isn't very good. He is very good. But Rob Valentini's been brilliant for a long time now. And yeah, he's played a lot of time in the number 8 jersey, so I would shunt him across into the number 8 shirt. Other than that, all South Africa. 10, Sasha Feinberg Ngomazulu is unproven, but I would pick him over Noah Lolesio. I guess the question is, if Australia had Sasha Feinberg Ngomazulu, what would they do? And they'd be picking him 10. Filippo Damguni's been very good, but he's not Kurtley Arendse, and he's not Cheslin Colby. On the bench, James Slipper there, ahead of Steenekamp, purely down to the fact that Steenekamp is new to international rugby, but again, one of those players that Rassie Erasmus is putting a lot of faith in moving forward. When you look at that, when you look at where Australia are at, the World Cup they had, the first time they've ever not qualified from a pool, the pool stages of the World Cup versus the world champions, it looks like a beatdown about to happen. There is the Brisbane factor. There is the record, which has been much talked about over these last few weeks. South Africa do not do well at this ground, and yes, that will play a factor. But honestly, I think you can kind of throw that out the window to a degree, because Australia have never been at this low an ebb, albeit Joe Schmidt is building them back up again slowly from the absolute depths of last October. Australia have never been this poor. And I think there's a strong argument to make that South Africa have never been this good. And that's where the two teams meet. That is the reality. And for that reason, I can't see anything other than a very, very comfortable South Africa win. 20 points. Which pains me to say, because you want these games to be close, especially the home team. Away wins in international rugby are and should always be hard things to get. Travelling anywhere is a tough place to go, and every win is valuable. I hope Australia can keep making strides forward. I think they're going to bring a lot of attitude. They're going to kick the ball a lot. They're going to play quite pragmatic rugby. But I guess the other intangible is, what are South Africa going to do? Are they going to chuck the ball about like they did in that first test against Ireland? Or are they just going to play the box power game that we've seen them play and that has won them the World Cup 1 year ago? Interesting questions to ponder. I'll be here on the channel right after the full-time whistle. Get myself out of bed, get the coffees on the go, and get the game on Saturday morning. Cannot wait. Thank you very much for watching. Hit subscribe on the channel if you haven't already. Give the video a thumbs up to help me spread the word, and tell me what you think in the comments down below. I'll be there with you.